Oh, Cartoon Network, I knew thee well. Obviously, I've talked about the channel a ton of times by now, so this time let's take a look at a different aspect of the Cartoon Network experience. The website. Yeah, cartoonnetwork.co.uk. In a time when access to the internet wasn't that widespread, this website was a goldmine of fun. When I was really young, I could only access the internet at my aunt's house, and anytime I went there, this website would be my first stop. It had humble beginnings at the dawn of the millennium, but over the years, it grew to become quite a flashy website, adopting the city-era look around 2005, and then this jungle theme by 2009. Since I had the internet in my house by that time, this is mainly how I remember it. I can't really think about this website without picturing that crawl of all the shows from the time. It just made you want to click on them all. You could even check the TV guide to see what was on the channel at the time. Fantastic Four, apparently. It lost a bit of its luster over time though, probably around the early 2010s when the new look came around, and it just wasn't the same. I always found it interesting how a lot of the old cartoons were still listed on the show page, even though most of them had stopped airing on TV by then. But the big thing about the website, of course, was the games. Cartoon Network had a truckload of them, and each show page was teeming with fun stuff you could play. I have a lot of fond memories of spending hours on these games, but since all the games ran on Flash, and Flash was discontinued in 2020, it's a bit more of a chore to play them again, but I think I might just have a solution for that. This, the Cartoon Network Power Pack. What is this sorcery? Well, released in 2008, it's a DVD. Sort of. It's a DVD and it's a DVD-ROM, since the pack features both actual cartoon episodes and a selection of games from the website you can play on your PC, all stored on 2 double-sided discs. I hate these actually, it's so easy to smudge them. And since the pack contains 19 games, I think it's a great opportunity for a nostalgic look back. The pack was distributed by Grabbit, the super budget company. Somehow I don't have a hard time believing that. As for the cartoons, there's 3 episodes on each disc, and on this one, they're all Christmas themed, so I guess this pack must have been released around the holidays. There's a festive special of Ben 10, where Ben stumbles across this Christmas village run by this whack job, who captures Grandpa Max and turns him into Santa for reasons. Then Ben and Gwen start turning into elves as well. What a nightmare this is. Of course Ben ends up saving the day, but one has to wonder how this story fits into the show's logic. There's the Johnny Bravo Christmas special, where Johnny goes on a journey to the North Pole to give Santa his letter, featuring a cameo from Donny Osmond.
Hey, Johnny! How the heck are you?
Great, Donnie.
Yeah, he was in this show. As usual, Johnny learns the true meaning of Christmas and gets beaten up by about 60 women in the process. Then there's that episode of Dexter's Lab, where he chases Santa in a rocket ship and shoots him down with laser blasters, which, oddly enough, is exactly how I like to spend Christmas. Strangely, Disc 2 also has the first episode of Ben 10, where Ben finds the Omnitrix for the first time. Wouldn't it make more sense to put this episode on Disc 1? You know, context and all that? Next is the first ever episode of Billy and Mandy, or to be more precise, Grim and Evil. Yeah, remember when it was originally 2 shows in one? You had the Grim Adventures, and that other show that nobody talks about. But yeah, good stuff. I like it when they trick the Grim Reaper and subject him to eternal misery.
I loathe you.
And thankfully, they saved the best for last. Ed, Edd and Eddy. Mwah, chef's kiss. This was always my favourite cartoon, since it was just so relatable, like holding a mirror up to my own childhood. We get the Canadian Squirt Gun episode, which is one of those things that just made me want to own one of those myself. But of course, when the Eds tried to sell the squirt guns, they get their money stolen from them by the Kenker sisters. And I didn't want to see that. I always wanted them to get away with it. Lastly, there's the episode where Johnny's sanity slowly unravels as he breaks up with Plank and searches for a new imaginary friend.
Oh, no, I like you too. Too many friends.
It's amazing how the show could bring so much from a simple block of wood, and I quite like the carefree dance at the end.
And syncopated style.
On to the games, and first of all, we have a bit of a problem. Like I said, all these web games ran on Flash, and with Flash gone to the great software home in the sky, we'll have to load these games using the Ruffle emulator, which is completely free. Luckily, it works just fine, and even loads on Ruffle straight from the DVDs, so not too many technical traumas here. First up is Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Jump and Grind. It's an extreme sports game, which is already right up my street. You can pick from a selection of characters from the show, I'm going with Blue because he was my idol, and partake in some downhill skateboarding. Ooh, I might need some practice at this. It's not that hard to get your head around. You just have to slalom around the flags and try not to crash, and it's mainly about picking up a high score. There's also a big air mode where you can pull off a huge jump, but the controls for jumping aren't too responsive. The voices are faithful to the show, and I'd also say the animation is pretty nice, except when you bail. Why is Blue just lying there smiling? Ben 10, Kraken Attack. This has to be the most basic game ever. You play as Ben 10, obviously, using the monster you turn into to run in a circle, blasting at a Kraken in the center. That's literally it. You can turn in 2 directions, but there's no aiming for your attacks. And while I assume you can play as all 10 aliens, there's nothing to this game at all. Boredom personified. Megas XLR, Megas versus the Universe. I never even watched this show. Well, this game doesn't load. Yeah, I've tried it about 5 times, and it's the only game in the pack that won't boot up. Maybe it's a message from above telling me I shouldn't bother. Dexter's Lab, Runaway Robot. This one's quite interesting. It's a bit like one of those old Windows 95 point-and-click games. You search Dexter's house, looking for pieces of his lost robot. I kind of like this. You can interact with the other characters in the show, and many things in the house, like the furniture or the kitchen implements. It's very charming. I approve. Johnny Bravo, Bravo Goalie. This looks like an older game, probably from the very early 2000s. It's a football game, so I'm already set to suck by default. Rather than playing as Johnny Bravo, you play against him in a penalty shootout. I like how some of the other Cartoon Network characters are watching in the crowd. Dexter's a hardcore football fan, I'm sure. I guess it sounds simple, just get the ball past him, but it honestly feels a bit random to me. You just click and hope for the best. I'm useless at football, and I guess so is Johnny Bravo, since the game ended in a draw. How appropriate. Kids Next Door, Intruders in the Park. Good intro to this one, and the theme song is on point. This is a more ambitious game, since there are 5 missions in total, and you play as all 5 members of the KND. Strangely, mission 1 is number 3 though. Shouldn't it start sequentially with number 1 and go from there? So the first mission has you trying to reach Grandma Stuff-Your-Face or whatever she's called, and blast her with your super hardware. Personally, I was expecting a big shootout, but one hit from the blaster, and she's done. Yeah, it's the most pathetic boss fight ever. Number 5's mission is more tricky, and more frustrating. You have to dodge the Toilinator and shoot 3 baskets, but it gets really annoying, since you don't know how much energy you should use for scoring, and I don't think the Toilinator is capable of picking up a ball, never mind blocking one. The next mission is easier, where you play as number 2 in this first-person mode, blasting tennis balls at innocent people just trying to enjoy their free time in the park. Wow, the KND are jerks. Number 4's mission has you kicking trash cans at the delightful children from down the lane, which is oddly satisfying, given how much I used to despise them in the show. And finally, number 1 has to dodge some water sprinklers and turn the switches off, which is really no threat whatsoever when you think about it. Why would getting wet hurt you? Just walk through it. But that's it, the park is saved. To be fair, it's a fairly challenging game with some good variety, and if I were a kid playing this, I'd probably be into it. Billy and Mandy, Harem Scarum. This one is more like a traditional Sky game. It's a side-scroller where you jump around as Mandy, slicing up pumpkins with Grimm's scythe. That's pretty cool to me. It's almost like Billy and Mandy on the Mega Drive or something. Now, you can switch between Billy and Mandy, but who wants to play as Billy? Just give me that scythe. It's actually a lot of fun jumping around and slashing the enemies, so this is a pretty good side-scroller to me. Although the game over screen is fairly ominous. Samurai Jack, Code of the Samurai. I was a big fan of Samurai Jack growing up, and already this visual style is a great start. Oh, this is nice. You actually get to smash the bad guys with Jack's sword. And there's this crumbling platform, but oh, what happened there? I just went through it. Well, I was enjoying this game, but this platform won't let you stand on it. What? I don't know what it is. Every time I stand on it, I just fall into the lava. Who designed this? Okay, I got through it. No, wait, there's another one. Come on, get up there. Why can't Jack stand on this thing? What is he, a ghost or something? I hate this show. Ed, Edd and Eddy, Spin Stadium. Now we're talking. Being my favourite cartoon, I used to play this all the time. You can pick from Ed, Edd and Eddy, all in order, which is cool. And I'm choosing Eddy, because I like Eddy a lot. It's basically like Beyblades. Apparently the Eds are into that. You click the mouse and launch the spinner into the others to smash them up and rack up some points. You get a ranking at the end depending on the score, and it's simple but engaging. All I can say is that now the Eds being mentioned in that old Beyblade competition makes so much sense.
So, did Tyson use 1, his evil Con Carne Bitbeast, 2, his Eddie Bitbeast, or 3, his Dexter Bitbeast?
Yeah, when does Eddie get his Bit Beast for this? It's also interesting how the other cul-de-sac kids are watching in the crowd, although it's highly unlikely Kevin would be smiling at the success of the Eds.
Dork!
On to disc 2 with Ben 10 Power Splash. Well, someone really liked Ben 10 on these discs. It's another side-scroller, but a clunky one. You play as Ripjaws underwater, dodging mines and tentacle robot things. Was this an episode of the show? I don't know. Eventually, you switch to Stinkfly to confront the bad guys, but you get so little health, it's virtually impossible. If I turned into another alien, shouldn't that rejuvenate my health? More like Mare 10. Courage the Cowardly Dog, Nightmare Vacation. You're stuck on some island looking for Muriel and... wait, level cleared? I didn't even do anything! It's officially the easiest level in video game history. Okay, so you have to fight all these weird red lava creatures by blasting them, but they just come after you non-stop. Like, get away from me, you weirdos! Ugh. It's kind of disturbing, actually. Interestingly, you have a temperature reading instead of a health bar, and when courage gets too hot, it's game over. I did try again, and this time look at this! Now the monster is stuck to me! It just copies my every move! What's going on here? It's like synchronized nightmare fuel. Yeah, this is definitely a Nightmare Vacation, a game that fits in perfectly with the surreal nature of the show. Dexter's Lab, Clone-a-Doodle-Doo. So Dexter is on a farm with chickens. What episode was this? There's a chicken running around the farm, and you have to trap it by drawing these barriers with the mouse. But be careful, ooh, the chicken gets vaporized. Well, I've boxed the chicken in, but nothing is happening. I guess it's just stuck in limbo forever. Don't look at me like that, Dexter, it's your stupid game. Ed, Edd, and Eddy, Lunchroom Rumble. Another childhood classic. This one even has its own unique title card, just like the show. You can actually play as all of the cul-de-sac characters if you unlock them, which is pretty cool. This one is basically one big brawl, where everyone competes in a massive food fight. You have to toss food at the other players until all their health is gone, and the last one standing wins. Almost like a battle royale, or an Ed, Edd, and Eddy version of Super Smash Bros. To be honest, this is extremely fun. It's challenging, but tense and exciting at the same time. You sort of can't wait to see who the last one standing will be. The animation is really well done, and this situation fits in perfectly with the show. It actually makes you want to have a food fight yourself. Not to mention it has a great little soundtrack, reminiscent of the music in the show. For a small web game, I'd say this one is definitely worth a try. My gym partner's a monkey, front page nuisance. Poof, remember this show? I didn't think so. That weird monkey is up to no good and throwing newspapers at you from above. You have to collect the papers and throw them back at him, and that's really all there is to it. It rivals that Ben 10 game for basic. I'm quitting gym early. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Teamwork. Another Foster's game, and judging by the cutscene, I presume this one is based on the first episode. You play as Mac in yet another collecting game. This time, you pick up the eggs Coco drops on the floor, and you have to trap these falling bombs in them. Who's throwing the bombs? Why? I don't know. There is an additional mini-game where you play as Blue running away from this monster in a maze, just like Pac-Man, but it doesn't add much variety. It just goes on, and sometimes Coco doesn't even drop the eggs in time. Stupid bird aeroplane plant thing. Cartoons, food fight. This one looks like an oldie, and wow, Ed, Edd, and Eddy meeting Johnny Bravo, that's a crossover I never knew I wanted. I thought this one might be similar to Lunchroom Rumble, but it isn't. You have to aim at Johnny and blast him with some food, but the hit detection is seriously bad here. It feels like no matter what you do, he never gets hit, but of course he gets to hit me all the time. It's completely unfair. Not a fun game, and frankly, I can't take it anymore. Kids Next Door, Codebreaker. A much simpler game than the first KND one. You have to catch Sticky Beard by opening these doors, but you have to unlock by playing a rip-off of the game Simon. You need to memorize the lights they show on that thing the tweenies press, and if you get it right, the door opens. This is one of those games that just goes on forever. I got to door 11 and gave up, because honestly, everything should stop at 11.
These go to 11.
Billy and Mandy, Evil Switch. This one's our only puzzle game, where you have to match 3 in a row of each character to clear out the board and score points. God, I couldn't imagine having more than 1 of Irwin, let alone 3. I'd say this is okay, but I was never that into these kind of puzzle games to begin with. It's really more like a cheap Sky game, but passable overall. Ben 10, Critical Impact. Okay, our last game, and wow, don't you think that's enough Ben 10? 2 full episodes and 3 games? Enough already! Unfortunately, this one is a bit of an anticlimax. You play as Heat Blast, firing up meteors in your path to destroy them. It's one of those endless runner type games where it never seems to end, and it's not that exciting. Occasionally, you turn into Ghost Freak to walk through walls, but there's not much else beyond that. A pretty dull way to end off, but I suppose that's what you get for an oversaturation of one show on these discs. Well, that's it for the Power Pack. A pretty intriguing selection of games overall. There were a handful of them that weren't that fun, or just plain frustrating, but you can definitely tell the good from the bad. Some of these games were actually quite ambitious, and in the case of a select few, a surprising amount of fun. I'd say Lunchroom Rumble was definitely the best, so take that for what you will. Maybe I'll look at some more of these web games in future, but for now, it's great to have the Power Pack as a physical reminder of the virtual Cartoon Network web. Iris out, please. Thank you.